Hello, beautiful souls, and welcome to this series, which is Celebrity Natal Charts. Um, which I started off, like I said in one of my other videos, doing one of every sun zodiac sign, but I've now decided to, overwhelm myself and do a Pisces of every rising sign. So we'll see how this turns out, but which my options are dwindling because I was going to use Simone Biles as the rising Sagittarius, but I already had Elizabeth Taylor as the rising Sagittarius. And she does have different planetary placements, so I might continue the series and just literally do all Pisces that have risings that I can find. But the next Pisces that I found who has a rising sign that is shared with us on the internet is Olivia Rodrigo. And not to be like, I'm just such a cool, you know, Luddite, I don't know, pop culture. Like, I literally know nothing about her. I don't know if she's an actress or if she's a singer or if she's both. From the very quick thing that I did not read that was attached to her natal chart, it did sort of look like she might have been on Disney or Nickelodeon, like a child actress or something. And I think maybe there's an Olivia Rodrigo song that I know. And I'm sure if I, like, as soon as I Google her, after I record the video and do my post research, I'll know exactly who she is. But we don't really know her over here, not to be like Mariah Carey or anything, but just to get into it with her rising Capricorn. So, if you're like me and you don't know who she is really, this will be a really good exercise in getting to know her. And then also, if you are a Pisces with rising Capricorn or have rising Capricorn, you'll probably find this video very informational. So sit back, relax, grab a drink, and let's get into this reading. Okay, so rising Capricorn, first house. She has Chiron and Venus in her first house, which says that her outward appearance and her self esteem is her most powerful tool of attraction. But feeling good about herself, whether that's like as far as like business goes or her career or her destiny, if that's something that she can help other people in, but may not be able to help herself with. So sort of similar to the Dakota Fanning reading, where I was like, she has this ability to make other people feel wanted and needed and beautiful, which is something that is a difficult energy for her to conjure within herself, but she does it very easily for other people. I see in Olivia Rodrigo's chart a very similar energy. It's like she has almost this like fairy godmother effect where it's like, now that I've spoken to you, you feel, beautiful and important and relevant. Now that I've spoken to you, you feel beautiful, important and relevant. But it's something that she has a difficulty feelings of herself and taking credit for her own accomplishments, as I'm also like, I don't know anything that she's done. So moving into her second house of her resources and priorities, we have Aquarius. So her greatest financial resource to her success is her friendships, social media, and technology, because she also has the planet of Mercury, Neptune, and Uranus in this second house, which is very powerful. Like, I don't know, she might do like commercials for Sprint or AT&T. Neptune represents television, illusion, things that cast illusion. So, since we don't live in the 17th century and she's not like some type of like, sword shadow dancer, it's most likely television. And also Uranus, so it's like boundless attention and acclaim from like just hanging out. She might do like a podcast eventually about the TV show Friends. They might do like a Friends reboot or something. But even Flavor Flav's chart spoke to me about his difficulties keeping and making friends. But even when I was saying the word friends, it felt more like the television show than, buddies or companions. And in her third house of Pisces, the third house of Gemini, which she has the sign of Pisces in, and also her sun. This says to me that she is probably very open about speaking about spirituality to people. It helps her manifest. So if she's having if she's having difficulty connecting with people, speaking about astrology, specifically her sun sign, is a really good net to use to capture other people. She might even be like the type of person like, oh, well, I'm a Pisces, so, I do X, Y, and Z and I act this way. Which all Pisces are Pisces, right? But not all Pisces believe in astrology. Not all Pisces share their belief in astrology. So her with this rising Capricorn, she talks about it a lot. And even I know Capricorns who identify with a lot of Pisces energy, and this is probably why, because it's in their third house. From their third house. Okay, so in her fourth house of Aries, so the third house of Pisces talks about her growing up in a spiritual environment. Her fourth house in Aries talks about either her mother side of the family, being like very angry and aggressive and maybe not as nurturing as they could have been. Um, and this causes her, or whether, whatever that connection to her mother is about, it causes her to feel feelings of anger and embarrassment. Um, and that's just like how she is. And then in her fifth house of Taurus, fifth house of Leo, she has the sign of Taurus, and which I think Taurus and Leo energy together is very powerful because it's like the old tried and true and tradition, and then the sort of like modern attention getting fame sort of energy as well. But I do look at the fifth house as a position of obstacles. So she might have a lot of financial struggles. She may have difficulty knowing what is urgent and what to prioritize or who to prioritize in her life. And the way that she can help and heal that, because the sixth house talks about healing, of course, but specifically healing towards your work life and your daily routines and day to day actions. So the way that she is supposed to heal this obstacle is by talking more with her friends, getting more in touch with technology, as she has the sixth house in Gemini. Um, I would never really, I never really tell people to multitask, but I think there's like a lot of tiny little things that she could be doing to help elevate whatever it is that she's doing. And this is, these are celebrities, so I'm pretty sure they're financially okay, but who couldn't be better? You know what I mean? Or to have stability and a long-term trajectory, long-term security from her acting or singing career, whichever it is. And in her seventh house, she has Cancer, so a really good like love affairs or connections that she might have had with people in the past would most likely be born under the sign of Cancer. People who are very loving and nurturing probably remind her of her mother or her mother's like culture. And then in her eighth house of Leo, which the eighth house I always kind of see is like your ability to interpret occult knowledge, but also like wants and desires. And I see that is under the sign of Leo. So she might have always really wanted or really desired to be famous and to live in Hollywood or Hawaii or Africa or someone very hot and attention getting. And she also has Jupiter here too. And one of the patterns I've been noticing in this series so far is that a lot of the people that I've been analyzing have Jupiter in the first house, meaning that they're very fortunate for their looks. She has Jupiter in her eighth house in the sign of Leo, so her looks are good. She's probably has like really good hair, but it's like she's lucky for the spiritual or occult knowledge that she's had since birth, whatever that might be. So she does have a rising sign information posted online, but like I keep saying to people throughout this series is that um, if you don't have your rising sign or if you don't have certain information presented to you, it's not like you're screwed or you picked a short straw. It's just that that's all you need to get yourself through this journey at this point, and then perhaps in a next life or later down the road, you'll have access to that information when it's needed. Okay, and then so the ninth house in Virgo, this like ninth house in Virgo is probably a person who doesn't share when they're not feeling well or like they're feeling sick or ill or something like that. Uh, it also talks about a person who, it's Virgo and Sagittarian energy, ninth house energy are very compatible. Where it's like Sagittarius respects people who go to school. Virgo are the people who go to school that Sagittarius respects. And it's like she has a philosophy of not really telling people when she's not feeling well or sick or ill or not doing well and things of that nature. And then for 10th house of her career, so throughout these series, so I think I'm like in the middle of this series so far. Like I think I might have actually recorded 6 videos. This might be the seventh one. I haven't been analyzing their midheaven. I have been touching on the North Node, but I haven't really been analyzing the midheaven because um, I I'm trying to keep this like I guess like sort of entry level interpretations of astrology. Like this would be what your first reading would be like. But I do think that in a celebrity natal chart reading, paying attention to what their midheaven is would be very important because the midheaven represents like your reputation, your career, and your destiny. But I also feel like that is interchangeable with just simply what your 10th house is, where you have positions in Capricorn and Chiron, um, what your North Node is. A lot of it talks about like your upward trajectory. But the thing is, like, as you grow throughout life, you're going to be evolving a lot and changing a lot. And uh, those changes or those evolutions happen at different points of your life and different points in your chart. So even if there are like redundant, repeating patterns or repeating messages in your natal chart reading, it's just for later on in life when you forget certain things. Okay, so 10th house and oh yeah, so 10th house in Libra, moon in Libra, midheaven in Libra. Um, she should most likely get married to a Virgo. Virgo would be a really good match for her. But also as far as like the trajectory of her career, being married or being in connection to a lot of Libras would be good for her because I guess they'll help balance out her emotions and feelings. You know, I'm assuming that she's pretty young because I have not looked up her Chinese or lunar astrology sign, so I don't know what year that she was born. But it does give me a similar energy to Drew Barrymore, where eventually later in life she could do like a Ricky Lake sort of talk show where she's like very altruistic and peaceful. And in her 11th house, where we have Scorpios, this means that she probably has like a Scorpio vibe to her, with like a rising Capricorn, like kind of like a Morticia, gothic, black hair, bold red lips sort of energy. And that also Scorpios are really good friends to her, or probably has like some really close buddies that are Scorpios, which most Pisces do, most Capricorn, or most Cancers do. And Capricorn and Scorpio are pretty compatible energies. But more interestingly enough, in her 12th house, she has Sagittarius and Pluto and Mars. So, with a 12th house Sagittarius, it could say that being competitive or being caught in competitions with people kind of brings her misery. And I keep talking about like The Voice and singing contests and competitions just because that's what comes to mind. So, if she was ever to participate in that or to be a judge on that, I think it would make her very sad because she thinks about how, those opportunities could change people's lives. But she also has like the action to start the ability to start people's careers as well. And this also says that, Sagittarius being the 12th house, people born under the sign of Sagittarius do tend to make her feel isolated, lonely, and miserable, or left behind, or abandoned. Uh, but as you know, we're talking about all Pisces here. The 12th house is a very comfortable place for her. So whatever the Sagittarius is that abandoned her, that she has like this feelings of anger and aggression and embarrassment around, she sort of likes that energy. And the thing when I was saying that like Pisces are miserable and they like miserable things, like Pisces are miserable, they like miserable things. It's not to say that anything is miserable or that to really cast judgment on any type of situation. But in a situation where, most people might prefer to be spiritually married, down at the courthouse and down at the church and the steeple, um, Pisces might prefer to be like the other woman or in a non committal relationship that they complain about, but ultimately wouldn't want a different situation. Uh, they could complain about their spouse cheating or something, but they cheat too. Just, it's very, just like maybe like the not most harmonious thing in the world, as far as like wants, wishes, and desires. So it's like you could be dating somebody of a different sign, and they might cheat, be a cheater, all these things, but it might be from them not having self-control, versus like Pisces is like, I'm gonna date this person and cheat and be horrible and awful, and it's like a deliberate decision, out of competition and get back, I guess. But that's what I see. Sagittarius in the 12th house. And thank you so much for listening and liking and sharing and subscribing to my channel and keeping up with this celebrity natal chart series. I will see you in my next video, or you'll at least be hearing me in my next video. And bye.